Thank you, Adam. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. When we last spoke with you, it was from the Advanced Clean Transportation Expo in Long Beach, one of our industry's largest trade shows. We had a number of Hypertruck ERX and hybrid trucks on display and were able to meet with dozens of fleet operators, suppliers, investors, and analysts where we gathered valuable insights on industry trends and the evolving needs of our customers. Additionally, during the conference, we were able to host over 70 ride-alongs in our Hypertruck ERX. The transportation and energy markets are changing rapidly, and despite persistent macroeconomic headwinds, Hyliion remains poised to revolutionize the market for Class 8 semi-trucks. We are turning industry interest in our technology into orders, and to date, we have received 200 orders backed by deposits to secure Hypertruck ERX production slots. Moreover, we remain on track and on schedule with our development and design verification milestones, including on-road testing. Importantly, we recently achieved a significant milestone in our Hypertruck ERX development by completing our first delivery of freight to one of the nation's largest retailers. The movement of freight was accomplished with an alpha version truck, one of the early development trucks. This was in partnership with GreenPass Logistics, a Hypertruck ERX Innovation Council member who's placed an order for 50 Hypertruck ERXs and is an active adopter of our hybrid product. In addition, yesterday afternoon, we released a video of GreenPass president sharing more on their experience with their shift towards electrification. Please go take a look. In the second quarter, as previously announced, we formalized what has been a successful and productive collaboration with Cummins. The goal of this collaboration is to optimize the Cummins natural gas engine as the generator for the Hypertruck ERX powertrain. This engine leverages a North American network of approximately 700 publicly available natural gas fueling stations. Working together with Cummins, we will pursue key environmental certifications for the natural gas engine that will serve as a range extender by providing onboard power generation to recharge the Hypertruck ERX's batteries. As I mentioned earlier, we have secured orders backed by deposits for early production slots for 200 units of the Hypertruck ERX. 190 of these orders were placed by the end of the second quarter, and another 10 of them were recently announced. This reflects not only our R&D achievements, but also the success of our ongoing ride and drive events. In addition to the orders, we have received reservations for approximately 2,000 units to date. These orders and reservations remain subject to the finalization of commercial terms. In the second quarter, as previously announced, NFI Industries ordered 10 units of Hypertruck ERX production slots. In addition to being a founding member of Hyliion's Hypertruck Innovation Council, NFI is a fully integrated North American supply chain solutions provider with a 90-year history and a fleet of more than 4,500 trucks. NFI approaches sustainability from a strategic perspective, and their commitment to tracking and reducing greenhouse gas emissions make them a clear leader in the drive to zero-emission transportation. Also previously announced in the second quarter, Wholesome US, a global leader in innovative and sustainable building solutions with a focus on low-carbon construction, ordered 10 units of Hypertruck ERX production slots. They plan to utilize the Hypertruck ERX units in their Texas and Oklahoma operations. In July, we announced that Ruan, a Hypertruck Innovation Council member, ordered 10 units of Hypertruck ERX production slots. Ruan is a proponent of alternative fuels and was an early adopter of CNG-fueled trucks. Their order came shortly after a visit to Hyliion's office in Austin, where they participated in a Hypertruck ERX ride and drive experience. We continue to hear positive feedback from our ride and drive events, as well as some of the struggles that fleets are facing as they attempt to shift towards plug-in electric vehicles. This underscores the fact that fleets are in need of a practical and low operating cost solution like the Hypertruck ERX that can ultimately offer a far superior emissions benefit. Our orders to date represent approximately 2% of our current customers' fleet size, and we expect to continue to increase our order count as we near the start of production, while at the same time building a backlog of reservations. This reflects that our customers truly recognize the capabilities and value proposition of our technology. On previous earnings calls, we have mentioned the HYPERTRUCKERX will qualify for ZEV credits under CARB's mandate for the OEMs, as well as the mandate for fleets as currently written. We are pleased to announce that as currently drafted, the recently announced Inflation Reduction Act will allow for a 30% tax credit, or up to $40,000, for all near zero and zero emission heavy duty vehicles, including the HYPERTRUCKERX. This is a federal initiative, which means that vehicles deployed in any state will qualify. We are excited to work with our elected officials as this bill makes its way through Congress. This potential legislation will decrease the upfront vehicle cost of electric trucks, which is often one of the main hurdles fleets face when adopting new technology. A reduced upfront cost, coupled with Hyliion's low operating costs, is a major win for fleets and our shift towards cleaner transportation. Turning to updates on our hybrid product. As we have stated, the Hyliion Hybrid provides a great cost-effective solution for customers who want a greener alternative now without the financial commitment of a fully electric powertrain. In Q2, we continued to ship more units to fleets and booked additional revenue. While our second quarter revenue was down on a sequential basis, we are pleased to share that we have established a sales backlog of approximately $1.5 million and still plan to hit our revenue targets for this year. Our sequential reduction in revenue from last quarter is primarily related to continued global supply chain disruptions, specifically around receiving trucks and being able to install our hybrid system. We continue to target use cases that match the performance characteristics of our hybrid solution, such as areas with rolling and hilly terrain. Also, we continue to generate interest from fleets who see our hybrid solution as a good fit for their broader ESG plans. For the balance of the year, we will continue upfitting customer trucks with the hybrid product, and we'll explore the possibility of selling full trucks with our hybrid product installed as another path to market for the hybrid system. While persistent and global supply disruptions can contribute to longer delivery times, we continue to work closely with our partners to secure the parts we need to fill orders. With our current order book and sales pipeline, we remain confident in achieving our sales targets for 2022. Turning to our HYPERTRUCKERX milestones, you can see that we continue to hit new development milestones on our HYPERTRUCKERX. Our growing team continues to work diligently through these milestones, and this marks the third consecutive quarter we have met the commercialization milestones laid out on our fourth quarter 2021 earnings call. In the second quarter, we began the second phase of our HYPERTRUCKERX design verification process with the start of on-road testing. We remain on schedule to complete design verification, including initial controlled fleet trials and the start of winter testing by the end of this year. As we've shared before, our multi-phase development program includes up to 1 million test miles as we bring this product into production. At the same time, we are pursuing final regulatory approvals with a goal of starting formal production late next year. With that goal in mind, we continue to work closely with our suppliers to secure delivery of key components to reach our development and commercial milestones. Looking farther ahead, we will grow and evolve with the industry. We have designed our HYPERTRUCK product platform to be generator agnostic. Today we utilize natural gas. In the future, we will transition to hydrogen when it is more readily available and economically viable for customers. Our approach consists of 3 stages. It starts with our current natural gas engine, then shifts to a fuel-agnostic generator that can run on both natural gas and hydrogen, and eventually moves into a hydrogen fuel cell solution. I know everyone at Hyliion shares my passion for our technology and my confidence in our commercialization and business development plans. I look forward to updating you on our progress over the second half of the year. With that, I will turn the call over to Sherry.
Thank you, Thomas, and good morning, everyone. I will now review our second quarter financial highlights. As Thomas mentioned, we continue to recognize revenue on our hybrid powertrain solution, which totaled $0.2 million in Q2. At the same time, we are investing in R&D to support our product development roadmap. In Q2, R&D spend was roughly $20 million, up $4 million sequentially, and up nearly $7 million year-over-year. SG&A spend, which included the expansion of key infrastructure for our commercialization initiatives and operations, was approximately $12 million in the second quarter, up $2 million sequentially and up $2 million year-over-year. Operating expenses for Q2 totaled approximately $32 million, compared with $23 million in the year-ago period as we ramped up our product development. Overall, Hyliion reported a net loss of approximately $34 million for the second quarter, compared with a net loss of $27 million in Q1 and a net loss of $23 million in Q2 of 2021. Turning to the balance sheet, we ended the second quarter with $500 million available to fund our commercialization plans for both the hybrid and the Hypertruck ERX. This figure includes nearly $200 million in cash and cash equivalents, $190 million in short-term investments, and $111 million in long-term investments. Our short-term and long-term investments are high-quality credit instruments with no maturities beyond 36 months and a weighted average maturity of 11 months across our portfolio. Our long-term investments are designed to preserve capital while providing liquidity to meet the company's operating requirements. Turning now to our outlook. For full year 2022, we expect our revenue to be in the range of $2 million to $3 million from hybrid sales and the potential sale of full trucks with our hybrid system installed. The actual amount of revenue recognized will depend on the number of units we sell, full truck sales with hybrid, and the mix of retrofit versus new installations. Additionally, we are lowering our full-year operating expenses to be between $130 million and $140 million, representing a $5 million reduction in our range. This is driven primarily due to timing associated with R&D costs to support the commercializations of the Hypertruck ERX, with no expected impact to the commercialization milestones we have laid out today. Moreover, we expect to remain well capitalized through the key development milestones we've discussed on today's call and outlined in today's presentation. With that, I'll turn it back to Thomas for a few closing remarks.
Thank you, Sherry. The turmoil in the world's energy markets underscores how the time for electrification and decarbonization is now. Based on recent conversations and feedback from stakeholders and others interested in the decarbonization journey, we have recently launched an educational video series to better inform everyone on the current and future of electrification. Our first video is on our website, and there will be more to come soon. For those of you who don't have the opportunity to ask questions on today's call, we posted last Friday to collect questions you may have. This will give us a chance to address any additional questions that aren't covered during today's Q&A. We will be posting a video with these answers on our social media shortly. Lastly, I'm excited to share that we will be hosting a virtual ride and drive event on September 13th for all investors and analysts who are interested. During this call, we will not only showcase what it's like driving the Hypertruck ERX and how it compares to a diesel truck, but we will share more on our business's go-forward strategy. In the next few weeks, we will share a link to the event, and we encourage all of you to join us for the video call. The commercial vehicle industry is at an inflection point, and early adopters of Hyliion's technology recognize our potential to transform the industry. Our solution is innovative yet practical due to its ability to leverage existing and widespread infrastructure to offer a lower cost of operation. With that, we will open the call to Q&A. Operator, please go ahead.